What is up? What is going on, everybody? Welcome back and welcome in to the Seattle Mariners victory post-game recap. The Mariners blanked the Texas Rangers tonight 6-0. They improved to 58 and 52 on the season. They now have a one-game lead on that third wild card spot over the Texas Rangers. As always, before I go any further, the big three, like the video. It's the most important thing. It helps it out tremendously, and it gets it out to more people. Subscribe, about 150 or so now away from 5,000. We are getting closer. Welcome to all the new subscribers, so hit that subscribe button. Channel members' goal is Sunday for a members stream video. And then most importantly, comment your, I've already said most importantly for everything, but also comment your thoughts on the team and the game down below. All are very important. All help the channel. So thank you, everybody, for the support. My wife is out of town and she has the laptop, so we're kicking this old school with the cell phone. Apologize. Hopefully the sound is still decent enough, and then tomorrow we'll be back onto the regularly scheduled programming, as we say here. So I do apologize for maybe the quality not being as strong. Huge win tonight for the Seattle Mariners. They had a really solid trade deadline. You had probably the two best bats that were traded all deadline, solid relief pitcher in Caleb Ferguson. But anytime you have a deadline like that, make those moves. You want to come out and get the victory right away and just, get that momentum going a little bit. It was a bit of a tough road trip for the Mariners. They go 3-4. Offense did not look very sharp. Pitching was up and down a little bit. So to be able to come home in a crucial series against Texas that really could help determine that final wild card position, big win for the Mariners to come out and get the job done tonight. And kind of a game we needed, right? We needed one of these type games where not a lot of drama to it. It was close early. Mariners get some runs on the board. Never really look back and get this one done 6-0. And a complete victory, right? George Kirby was outstanding, bullpen outstanding, and the offense outstanding as well. So just a total complete victory. Like I said, a really important series here for the Mariners, because you're going up against Texas here for this final wild card. We'd love to see the Mariners catch Houston or even pass Boston and New York for a better wild card position. But right now, Texas is your main competition. You have the tiebreaker against them. That's locked in. You're 8-2 against them. Nothing can change there. So in a way, you almost have a 2-game lead now. It's not, because if Texas won 2 in a row, they'd be in first place because they'd be up a game. But if Texas does win tomorrow, you are still in first. You're still ahead of them because you have that tiebreaker. So really feels like a series that if you can get tomorrow, you put a lot of pressure on the Rangers now because they know they don't have the tiebreaker. They'd be down 2 games. Their best bet is leaving Seattle with the split and being tied for that wild card spot, which would go to the Mariners. So I think tomorrow's a really huge one. Tonight was huge, obviously. I think tomorrow as well, if you can find a way to get that victory, I think it really sets you up for a solid series here and puts a lot of pressure then back on the Rangers. They're the ones that kind of have to now make a statement, bounce back in this series, and you're kind of in the driver's seat. Obviously, as always, prayers up for Trent Thornton, man. Brutal to see that in the 9th inning. I don't want to speculate, but looked like maybe an Achilles. Couldn't put any weight on that. And the timing awful. That's not the important thing. Anytime a player is hurt, the issue is that player is hurt, right? And that's the most important thing. These guys, no matter what you think of them, they are out there battling, trying to help this team win. Thornton's been a lot better since coming back from his appendicitis IL stint. And that's a shame, too, because he was kind of becoming a dude again in the bullpen. So, obviously hoping for the best. Didn't look great. I don't speculate. Not a doctor. But prayers up for Trent Thornton, and hopefully he can find a way back onto the mound this year. Now, of course, when we're talking about these things for outside of the, prayers up for the player, it is tough timing, right? Because you just had the trade deadline pass where maybe you would have had another arm. You DFA'd Colin Snyder to make room for Caleb Ferguson, which is fine. But, if this had happened yesterday, it would have given this team time to maybe do something there and make another move. So, probably not the end of the world in terms of on-the-field stuff. Jackson Kowar is capable, and there's some other arms as well in the system. But, obviously just got it for Trent, so hopefully he's okay. Who would have thought after the after the trade deadline, we'd get the Cole Young MVP game? How about Cole Young today? The triple, I believe the longest home run in T-Mobile history belongs to Cole Young. Who would have guessed that? Obviously, Cole's got some pop, no doubt about it, but did not expect that kind of a bomb from Cole Young. Just tremendous. I mean, listen, if Cole Young can have a big, I keep saying second half, kind of final third of the season, that's a huge boost to this team. He's been a lot better since kind of a rough couple weeks to start his major league career. He's really been dialed in a lot more, had some much better at-bats, made some good contact. So really, really good to see, because this lineup is loaded right now. It really is. I mean, you look up and down, and I also love the lineup moves that Dan made today. I think batting Randy leadoff is solid. He's one of your best OBP guys. Got some speed there, some pop, a little bit of everything. I think that's solid in the leadoff spot with JP struggling. Love Cal in the 2-hole with his power and his OBP. Julio 3, I think, is fine. And then, round it out. Naylor, Eugenio's back. He's hitting 5th. And then Polanco 6th. JP, I think, is solid. And I think Dom was 7th. That's a good 7-hole hitter. Dom had a couple base hits today, or I think a hit and a walk. So Dom's capable. JP gets an RBI single at the bottom of the order there. So you feel better with JP at the bottom if you can get a little bit of that OBP coming back. And then Cole Young hitting 500-foot bombs in the 9-hole. This lineup is really, really solid. It does still have some patches where, like, if you go to a solid lefty reliever facing JP, Cole Young, Polanco, you can, navigate through it a little bit. But, man, this lineup is really, really good. It's the best lineup this team has had, maybe since the early 2000s, to be perfectly honest. I don't know. I don't have every lineup in front of me, but it's got to be there, man. It is really close. I don't think I mentioned Josh Naylor when I just went through the lineup there. So I remember last week I was doing a video and talking about the lineup and how good it was. And I forgot to mention Cal Raleigh, and it's like, that's how good the lineup is. I'm forgetting the dumper. Like, how is that possible? Speaking of the dumper, he hits number 42 tonight. Again, the magical season continues for Cal Raleigh. Every time you think he's kind of slowing down, he doesn't. So that was great to see. Like I said, the Cole Young home run, Geno creating a run with the double, then scoring on the wild pitch. Cole Young's triple, scoring J.P. Crawford. J.P. chimes in with the base hit. Cole Young scores on the wild pitch. So, got some long ball, right? Cole Young, obviously, like I said, the big dumper, Cal Raleigh doing it. But also nice to see, J.P. getting the single. Cole Young putting one in the gap for a triple, not just relying on the home run. They're still hitting some home runs, but they haven't gotten those kind of clutch base hits with guys on base. Geno finding his way on, moving over, coming in on a wild pitch. All those little things, just really fundamentally sound good baseball to see from the Mariners, because they're not scoring a lot of runs recently without the home run. And again, please keep hitting home runs. They're great. They're a quick way to score a run. If everybody wants to hit a home runs every at-bats, beautiful. We'll win a lot of baseball games. That's not going to happen, though. You got to get some doubles, some singles to bring them in, move some guys over, get some sac flies. So keep hitting the home runs and then do the little things around it to keep adding on runs. And they kind of did that today. Certainly a triple is slug and power as well. But just really good to see an all-around complete game. And good to see it not just being Cal and not just being the guys at the top. Because, 1 through 6 is fantastic. If JP can bounce back a little bit to where he was early in the year, and Cole Young can, doesn't have to do what he did tonight every night, but more of that, it's going to be very hard to keep this offense off the board. The other big thing this team has to have to finish out this season, get in the playoffs, the starting pitching has got to be locked in. We've talked about it all the time. They got that tonight. 6 shutout innings for George Kirby. I know Texas's offense isn't necessarily the best, but it's been a lot better of late. It's put up a lot more runs recently, and they're swinging it pretty good. They did lose 2 out of 3 in Anaheim, but overall they're coming in pretty hot. And George Kirby holds them in check tonight and gets through 6 shutout. We've seen these starters where it's like, I thought for sure when Garcia was up there, I think in the 6 was second and third and 2 outs, I thought for sure he would align a base hit or a double in the gap. Because it's what's happened to these starting pitchers this year. They've just had trouble finishing outings. It's not all been bad outings, but it's just been like, man, one more pitch right there and we would have had just, perfection. Instead, we get more of it was solid. So they've got to finish these. More of that. I'm not saying every outing has to be 6, 7 shutout innings, but with George Kirby today, we need more of it because the rotation has to be better. It just does. It hasn't been, I don't think, awful or anything, but last year at a rotation, it was arguably the best in baseball. And this year, I think it's been more middle of the pack. You've had some solid performances from Luis Castillo. Brian Wu has overall been good. Logan Gilbert's numbers are really good. He's just not going deep into games. And Kirby's kind of run to that a little bit too, and they've both been hurt at times. So all the offensive additions are great. They are going to help. Geno is going to help this team tremendously. But I really think the rotation is the key here in the final 50 games. This rotation can get dialed in, and it doesn't have to be exactly like last year, but close. I do think they could still win the West if they get that good of a pitching, performance out of the starters. Bullpen does the job tonight. Caleb Ferguson makes his Mariners debut. Looks really solid. Again, a shame about Trent Thornton because he looked, it never fails with these injuries. It's always when these guys look as good as they've ever looked. And Trent Thornton was on his way to 2 really solid shutout innings and looked really good. So we'll wait to see news on that. And then Casey Legumina, comes in there and gets the job done and finishes it off for the Mariners there. So nice job. Hey, listen, you pitched a shutout, so there's nothing to complain about there on the pitching side. I don't have the box score up because I don't have my computer with me, though he went through the offense a little bit, and just so excited to have Geno back, right? I mean, one, the dude's tied for 5th in home runs. We went over all the numbers yesterday that Geno's done. But the great thing is he doesn't have to be that player. He does not have to be 145 WRC plus Geno. If he's 115, 120, that's a huge, huge boost to the lineup. That is absolutely, fine out there for the Mariners. And it's going to help them tremendously because of how good the other guys are around him. Listen, is this lineup still susceptible to some slumps? We've seen it, yes. It would be great if they don't fall into any of those. Today was a good start for that, putting up the 6 runs. But man, you look at it today when that lineup is posted, and this isn't even counting Luke Raley, who's on the IL and hopefully coming back here in the next couple weeks, which will help as well. There's just not a lot of easy outs. If I'm a pitcher sitting there, I'm like, okay, Randy, gosh, Cal Raleigh, Julio can beat you. Then I got Josh Naylor. Then I've got Geno. And then, man, like Jorge Polanco's good. Dom Canzone's dangerous. You leave a fastball over the middle of the Dom, it's going to be crushed. I know I did this already, but I'm just really excited for this lineup. Like I said, I think it's the best this team has had in a long, long time. I do want to talk a little bit about the trade deadline today. The Mariners did not make any more moves. I can't call this deadline anything but an A. You can argue with that. That's fine. They added the 2 best hitters in baseball that were available. I mean, they are Seattle Mariners. Now, they're rentals. Like, that certainly carries risk. But nobody that was given up, I think is going to be someone I lose sleep over there. I think Locklear can be good. I wish him the best. I think he will have success in Arizona potentially. Doesn't mean I don't make that trade. Caleb Ferguson is a really nice addition to the back end of the bullpen that we've talked about for so long. Needs a second lefty there to help out behind Gabe Spire or in front of Gabe Spire, however they want to do it. Did I want them to add another bullpen piece today? 100%. I mean, the Minnesota Twins traded their entire bullpen. Would have loved to have seen Louis Varland. Brock Stewart went to the Dodgers. Griffin Jacks went to Tampa. Would have loved to have seen one of those guys in Seattle. I think they would have helped. I'm trying to think who else was traded there from bullpens. I mean, David Bednar, Camilo Duvall, Jake Bird all go to the Yankees, which is wild. One of those guys would have been great. Any of them would have been. They're all really good pitchers. Bullpens can be kind of weird, though, for sure. So it's tough sometimes to give up a ton of capital for bullpen help. It's something I know a lot of GMs shy away from. Mason Miller's traded. But Mason Miller gets traded for a legit top 5 prospect in baseball, the shortstop that went back to the A's there. So, I would have loved another one. Would have loved a Willie Castro type. I think he really would have helped this team. Even someone like Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, who I don't think was traded. Would have been a little nice addition. But maybe, Victor Robles working his way back, Luke Raley coming back. I don't think it's absolutely something they had to do necessarily. It just would have been nice. No matter what, when you leave a trade deadline, no matter what you do, you're always going to feel like you left a little meat on the bone. So that's why I just can't be too upset when I see Eugenio Suarez, Josh Naylor, and Caleb Ferguson add to this roster. No matter what your team does, you're always going to feel like a little something was left out there. So am I disappointed at making a move today? Of course. Like, you always want to see your team, wheeling and dealing and making moves. So I think anybody that's disappointed they didn't add anybody is totally justified in that. But again, I think if we just take a step back and look at what they added, I don't know how you can't call it an A, unless you don't like Geno or Naylor, then that's a different debate to be had, right? That's something else. But in terms of like, if you like those guys, then I don't understand what you didn't like about the deadline, overall. But there definitely were some interesting names moving. I was like, ooh, that would have been a fun one to get. Oh, I would have loved it. Like one of those Twins relievers, man, they traded everybody. Who's even in the Twins bullpen now? Topa, just Topa running solo. They even traded Colombe to the Rangers. So, I mean, everybody from that Twins bullpen is on the move. So that's my final take on the deadline. Great victory today for the Mariners. Cole Young MVP performance. The dumper goes deep. George Kirby 6 shutout innings. Second half of the season, I said it yesterday, starts today. This is it. Throw away that road trip. It stunk. You made some additions. 1-0. Let's get it going. Let's get this team to the playoffs. Have a great night, everybody. Like, comment, subscribe, and as always, go Mariners. Peace.